Hey coin lovers! Welcome to the Worth Old Coins channel, your place to discover the hidden value and rare facts about old coins. In today's video we're revealing the top 5 valuable coins, and one of them might just be in your collection. So don't skip this video, let's find out their real worth. Top 1. The 1966 United States dime, officially called the Roosevelt dime, is a small silver-colored coin with a face value of 10 cents. And it represents a crucial period in American numismatic history because it was struck during the era when the U.S. Mint had just transitioned away from using silver in its circulating dimes. Before 1965, dimes were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but due to rising silver prices, Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which permanently eliminated silver from dimes and quarters intended for circulation. Therefore, the 1966 dime was one of the early issues made under this new composition. It consists of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin its familiar, clad appearance with a silvery color but a reddish copper edge visible when viewed from the side. The coin has a standard weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a reeded, grooved, edge which is a feature dating back centuries, originally intended to prevent the shaving or clipping of precious metal from coins when they were still made of silver. On the obverse, front, of the 1966 dime is the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, designed by sculptor John R. Sinek, whose initials JS appear at the truncation of Roosevelt's neck. Roosevelt was chosen to appear on the dime in 1946, shortly after his death, to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his personal involvement in supporting the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, the disease he himself struggled with. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions "Liberty" to the left, the national motto "In God We Trust" below Roosevelt's chin, and the date 1966 placed at the lower right side. Unlike most other years, however, the 1966 dime carries no mint mark regardless of whether it was struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints. This was intentional. During 1965, 1966, and 1967, the mint suspended the use of mint marks as part of a broader strategy to discourage coin hoarding. Since many people were pulling coins out of circulation in search of silver pieces or rare mint-marked issues, on the reverse, back, of the coin, the design also created by Sinek features a central torch symbolizing liberty flanked by an olive branch representing peace on the left, and an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence on the right. Above the design is the inscription "United States of America," while the bottom reads "One Dime," and the motto "E Pluribus Unum," Latin for "out of many one," is placed horizontally across the center of the torch and branches. The fields are relatively simple, but the design has remained consistent since its introduction in 1946, making the Roosevelt dime one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. Historically, the 1966 dime is interesting because it was produced during a time of very heavy coin shortages in the United States, as vending machines and the growing economy required billions of coins for circulation. To meet demand, the mint produced an enormous mintage of 1,382,734,540 dimes in 1966, which is one of the highest figures of the decade, ensuring that the coin is extremely common today and has virtually no scarcity in circulated grades in terms of value, because it contains no silver. The 1966 dime is generally worth only its face value of 10 cents when circulated, though uncirculated, mint state. Examples can command modest premiums among collectors. In mint state condition, coins graded MS-65 might be worth around $2 to $5, and superb gems graded MS-67 or higher can be worth considerably more, sometimes up to $100 or more, especially with full torch, FT, or full bands designation, which means the vertical lines of the torch on the reverse are sharply struck and fully separated. Additionally, 1966 dimes were also struck in special mint sets, SMS, rather than standard proof sets, since the mint did not issue traditional proof coins in 1965 to 1967. These SMS coins, struck in San Francisco, have a higher quality finish than regular circulation strikes, with sharper details and sometimes cameo contrast, and they are sought after by collectors. An SMS dime from 1966 in high grade can fetch between $5 and $50, with the rarest cameo and deep cameo examples bringing hundreds of dollars at auction. Collectors also search for minor errors and varieties on the 1966 dime, such as double dies, die clashes, off-center strikes, or other striking anomalies, which can add extra value depending on severity and eye appeal beyond numismatic value. The 1966 dime holds cultural importance as an artifact of the mid-1960s, a time of social change, the height of the space race, and America's transition from silver to clad coinage, which was controversial among the public who were initially skeptical of the cheap-looking new coins. Today, the 1966 dime remains a common pocket change find, but for collectors of Roosevelt dimes or U.S. coinage history, it represents a significant moment in the evolution of American money. The first full year in which every dime struck was made without silver, embodying the beginning of modern U.S.-clad coinage that continues to the present day. Top 2. The 1969 United States dime, officially called the Roosevelt dime, is a small but historically significant coin with a face value of 10 cents, struck during a period when the United States Mint was producing massive numbers of clad coinage to meet the needs of a growing economy and to replace the dwindling supply of pre-1965 silver coins that had been heavily hoarded. This coin was struck at the Denver Mint as indicated by the small D mint mark located on the obverse of the coin just above the date to the right of Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait. The obverse design created by John R. Sinek features a detailed left-facing bust of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, remembered for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his strong association with the March of Dimes campaign that helped fund polio research and assistance for disabled children. Around the obverse are the inscriptions, Liberty, at the left, In God We Trust, positioned beneath Roosevelt's chin, Sinek's initials, J.S., near the neckline, and the year of issue 1969 placed prominently at the lower right with a D mint mark directly above it. The reverse of the coin, also designed by Sinek, showcases a powerful arrangement of symbols. At the center is a torch representing liberty, flanked on the left by an olive branch symbolizing peace and on the right by an oak branch representing strength, independence, and victory. This trio of imagery encapsulates the American ideals of freedom, resilience, and harmony. The inscriptions on the reverse read, United States of America around the upper rim, the denomination, 1 dime at the bottom, and the national motto, E pluribus unum. Out of many, one positioned horizontally across the central design. BY 1969 all dimes were produced in copper-nickel clad composition, a result of the Coinage Act of 1965, which permanently removed silver from dimes and quarters to conserve precious metals and reduce hoarding. Thus the 1969 D dime is made of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving the coin a silvery appearance while weighing only 2.27 grams with a standard diameter of 17.91 millimeters, a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, and a reeded edge containing 118 tiny grooves. This uniform design and composition has remained unchanged for decades, making the Roosevelt dime one of the most familiar coins in modern American circulation. The Denver Mint produced an enormous total of 563,323,870 dimes in 1969, reflecting the massive demand for coinage at the time, as vending machines, parking meters, and daily commerce all relied heavily on smaller denominations. Because of this large mintage, the 1969 D dime is considered common in circulation and has little premium above face value in worn condition. However, uncirculated examples and those with exceptional sharpness can be collected, with typical uncirculated MS60, MS63 examples valued modestly, while higher-grade gems, MS65 and above, may command prices ranging from $5 to $20, and superb specimens with strong strikes and brilliant luster can sometimes exceed $100 in certified MS67 condition. Collectors also prize coins with the full torch, FT, or full bands designation on the reverse, which indicates that the horizontal lines across the torch are fully separated and sharply struck, a detail often weak on circulating strikes of this era. Such examples can bring significantly higher premiums due to their rarity and technical quality. Error coins from 1969 D are also of interest, with known varieties such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die clashes, which can sell for considerably more depending on severity and eye appeal. While there are no major recognized doubled die varieties for the 1969 D dime, specialists in Roosevelt dimes often search carefully for minor anomalies. In terms of broader historical context, the 1969 D dime represents a typical coin of late 1960s America, a time marked by the Vietnam War, the ongoing space race that culminated in the Apollo 11 moon landing earlier that same year, and major social changes at home. As such, coins from 1969 are not only monetary objects but also artifacts that carry the cultural and economic atmosphere of their time. Today, the 1969 D dime remains a common circulation coin still found in pocket change across the United States, yet for collectors it is an essential part of the complete Roosevelt dime series, bridging the gap between the early post-silver years and the long run of clad coinage that continues to the present day. Its design continuity, historical resonance, and modest collectible value make the 1969 D dime both an everyday object and a small piece of enduring American history. Top 3. The 1971 United States dime, formerly known as the Roosevelt dime, is a small but historically rich coin with a face value of 10 cents. Produced during the sixth full year of the United States Mint's transition to clad coinage following the removal of silver in 1965, and it represents both the economic realities of the late 1960s and early 1970s as well as the continuation of a design that had already become iconic in American life. On the obverse front, designed by John R. Sinek, appears the detailed left-facing bust of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who was chosen to appear on the dime in 1946 in honor of his leadership through the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his personal connection to the March of Dimes, the national campaign that raised funds to fight polio, the disease that Roosevelt himself had lived with for much of his life. Encircling the portrait are the inscriptions, Liberty, to the left the motto, In God We Trust, beneath his chin Sinek's initials, J.S., at the base of Roosevelt's neck, and the date 1971 positioned at the lower right. Depending on where it was struck, the coin may bear a mint mark. No mint mark indicates the Philadelphia Mint, a small D denotes the Denver Mint, and an S signifies the San Francisco Mint, which struck specially prepared proof coins for collectors in that year. The reverse of the coin, also by Sinek, features a bold design of a central torch symbolizing liberty flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace on the left, and an oak branch symbolizing strength, independence, and victory on the right. Around the rim are the inscriptions, United States of America, at the top and one dime, at the bottom, while the Latin motto, E pluribus unum, out of many one, runs horizontally across the central design. Technically, the 1971 dime is struck in the modern clad composition mandated by the Coinage Act of 1965. An outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, resulting in a coin with a standard weight of 2.27 grams, a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, and a reeded edge with 118 grooves. This sandwich construction gives the coin its silver-colored appearance but reveals its copper core when viewed from the edge. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck 162,361,004 dimes, while the Denver Mint produced 754,942,100 dimes, and the San Francisco Mint added 3,220,733 proof dimes, making the total 1971 dime output extremely high and ensuring that the coin remains common today in circulation. Because of these massive mintages, the 1971 dime carries no intrinsic silver value and is generally worth only 10 cents in circulated condition, though examples preserved in higher mint state grades are of interest to collectors. Typical uncirculated, MS-60, MS-63, examples trade for a modest premium, usually under $1, while true gem quality pieces, MS-65, MS-67, can command values between $10 and $50, with exceptional examples achieving higher prices. Collectors especially look for coins with the full torch, FT, or full bands designation, meaning the vertical lines and horizontal bands on the torch are sharply defined and fully separated, a feature that is uncommon due to the often weaker strikes of this period. Such coins can be worth significantly more than ordinary uncirculated examples. The proof dimes from San Francisco are struck with polished dies and planchets, giving them mirror-like surfaces, and frosted cameo devices and high-grade deep cameo examples are highly desirable, often selling for $20 to $100 or more depending on grade and eye appeal. Error varieties are also of interest. Collectors have identified off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and misaligned dies among 1971 dimes, which can range in value from a few dollars to several hundred depending on rarity and condition. Historically, the 1971 dime is emblematic of its time, circulating widely during a decade marked by the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and America's continuing involvement in the space race, including the aftermath of the Apollo moon landings and daily life. It served as an essential piece of small change for vending machines, payphones, parking meters, and everyday transactions, and in numismatic terms it forms a critical link in the uninterrupted Roosevelt dime series that has run from 1946 through the present day. Although not a rare or valuable coin in most cases, the 1971 dime is a tangible reminder of the stability of U.S. coinage design, the permanence of Roosevelt's legacy on America's money, and the modernization of coin production in an era when the mint was working at full capacity to supply billions of durable clad coins to a rapidly changing nation. Top 4. The 1980p Roosevelt dime is a small yet historically interesting coin of the United States with a face value of 10 cents, and it represents both the enduring legacy of Franklin D. Roosevelt's commemoration on American coinage and an important turning point in U.S. mint history. Since 1980 was the first year that the Philadelphia Mint used its P mint mark on a circulating dime, a practice that would continue onward for most denominations. prior to 1980 Philadelphia mint coins typically carried no mint mark, making the appearance of the small p above the date on the obverse of this coin a distinctive feature and a marker of modern minting practices. The obverse, front, designed by John R. Sinek, displays a finely detailed left-facing bust of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who served as the 32nd President of the United States from 1933 to 1945, guiding the country through the hardships of the Great Depression and the challenges of World War II while also being personally associated with the March of Dimes, the charitable campaign to combat polio. Surrounding his portrait are the inscriptions, Liberty, on the left rim the motto, In God We Trust, beneath the chin the designer's initials, JS, at the truncation of Roosevelt's neck, and the date 1980 with the P mint mark just above it on the right-hand side. On the reverse, the design, also by Sinek, features a powerful set of symbols, a central torch of liberty flanked by an olive branch symbolizing peace on the left and an oak branch symbolizing strength and independence on the right, while the national motto E pluribus unum, out of many one, runs horizontally across the center. The surrounding inscriptions read, United States of America, above, and 1 dime below, clearly defining the coin's issuing nation and denomination. Technically, the 1980 P dime was struck in the modern copper-nickel clad composition introduced in 1965. An outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, producing a durable coin with a silvery appearance. Its specifications are standard for the series, with a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, a weight of 2.27 grams, and a reeded edge containing 118 tiny grooves, originally a feature used on precious metal coins to deter clipping. In terms of production, the Philadelphia Mint struck an enormous 735,170,000 dimes in 1980, reflecting the high demand for coinage in circulation as vending machines, tolls, and daily commerce relied heavily on small denominations. Because of this massive mintage and the absence of silver content, the 1980 P dime is considered common and generally worth only its face value of 10 cents when circulated, though it holds interest for collectors as the first P mint mark dime from Philadelphia. Uncirculated examples, however, are collectible with coins in mint state, MS condition, valued modestly in the range of $2 to $5 at grades MS63, MS65, while superb gems graded MS67 or higher can bring $50 to $150 or more, especially if they display brilliant luster and strong strikes. Collectors also seek out examples with the full torch, FT, or full bands designation, where the horizontal bands on the torch on the reverse are fully separated and well defined. These are scarcer for the 1980 P dime due to striking quality and can significantly increase value. Additionally, error coins from 1980 P are of great interest, with known varieties including off-center strikes, die clashes, misaligned dies, double dies, and clipped planchets, each of which can add significant value depending on rarity and condition, sometimes ranging from tens to hundreds of dollars. Beyond its numismatic details, the 1980 P dime carries historical significance as an artifact of the early 1980s in the United States, a period marked by economic challenges such as inflation, the energy crisis, and shifting global politics, as well as technological changes that increased the reliance on coin-operated machines and thus required billions of durable clad dimes. The coin circulated widely during this decade and remains extremely common in change today, but for collectors of the Roosevelt dime series, it holds a special place because of the introduction of the Philadelphia P mint mark, making it not only a symbol of continuity in the long-running dime design, but also a marker of modernization in American minting. As part of the Roosevelt dime series that has remained unchanged since 1946, the 1980 P dime embodies both tradition and transition, serving as a practical tool of commerce, a tribute to one of America's most influential presidents, and a collectible piece of U.S. monetary history. Top 5. The 1973 D. Roosevelt dime is a small but historically significant American coin with a face value of 10 cents, struck at the Denver Mint as indicated by the small D mint mark placed just above the date on the obverse, and it represents an essential chapter in the ongoing series of Roosevelt dimes that have been in continuous production since 1946, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in United States history. On the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint in the 1940s, is a finely detailed left-facing portrait of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, whose image was chosen to honor his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, as well as his personal involvement with the March of Dimes, a campaign that raised funds to fight polio, a disease Roosevelt himself endured. The inscriptions on the obverse include Liberty, positioned to the left along the rim, the national motto, In God We Trust, beneath Roosevelt's chin, Sinek's initials, JS, at the base of the neck, the date 1973 to the lower right, and the D mint mark just above the final digit of the year. On the reverse, Also designed by Cynic is a central torch representing liberty flanked by an olive branch on the left symbolizing peace and an oak branch on the right symbolizing strength and independence with the inscriptions, United States of America, encircling the top, 1 dime, at the bottom, and the national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many 1 inch written across the center between the branches and the torch. Like all dimes struck after the Coinage Act of 1965, the 1973 D dime is made of a copper-nickel clad composition consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core, giving it a silvery appearance on the surfaces with a visible copper edge when viewed from the side. The coin weighs 2.27 grams, has a diameter of 17.91 millimeters, a thickness of 1.35 millimeters, and a reeded edge with 118 grooves, which historically was a feature introduced on silver coinage to prevent clipping but has been retained on modern clad issues for tradition and tactile recognition. In terms of production, the Denver Mint struck a very large total of 455,440,000 Roosevelt dimes in 1973, reflecting the enormous demand for coinage in circulation during the early 1970s when vending machines, pay phones, toll booths, and parking meters all heavily depended on small change because of this high mintage and the absence of any silver content. The 1973 D dime is extremely common and carries no premium in circulated condition, typically worth only its face value of 10 cents. However, uncirculated examples preserved in mint condition are collectible with prices beginning at around $1 to $2 for mint state 60 examples, rising to $5 to $15 in gem grades such as MS65 and reaching as high as $50 to $100 or more for superb coins graded MS67 with excellent strike luster and eye appeal. Collectors also pay close attention to coins with the full torch, FT, or full bands designation on the reverse, which indicates that the horizontal bands across the torch are fully separated and sharply struck, something that is not always present on circulation strike dimes of this era. Such coins can command significant premiums because of their scarcity. Proof dimes of 1973 were struck separately at the San Francisco Mint, but these carry an S mint mark and are distinguished from the 1973 D. Circulation issues. Errors and varieties for the 1973 D dime also exist, including off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets, which are collectible curiosities and can be worth from a few dollars up to several hundred depending on rarity and condition, though no major double die varieties are widely known for this year in mint. Historically, the 1973 D dime reflects the economic and cultural backdrop of the early 1970s in the United States, a period shaped by the Vietnam Wars winding down, the Watergate scandal, growing inflation, and widespread social change, and it served as a practical tool of everyday commerce for millions of Americans during that turbulent decade. Today, the 1973 D Roosevelt dime remains common in circulation, often overlooked because of its small value and high mintage. Yet for collectors, it remains an essential part of the Roosevelt dime series and a representative piece of the clad coinage era that began in the mid-1960s, although most examples are worth little beyond face value. High-grade uncirculated coins and coins with special designations or errors give the 1973 D dime added interest, making it not only a piece of pocket change but also a lasting artifact of American numismatic and historical heritage. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe my channel for more videos.